Howdy gang, I wanted to make a little video about Marklin M, and I had a little problem yesterday that wanted to share with you guys, and also just talk about the M in general. So all of a sudden I'm running some trains and everything shuts down, and the controller's telling me there's a short somewhere. I can hear clicking, and what's clicking is different turnouts, or just clicking on and off, not actually triggering, but just a little. You can tell that there's a kind of short that's making them the solenoids vibrate. And so it took a while for me to pull sections of the track out until it stopped, and then work my way back to the offending piece of track, which is this guy here. And it looks pretty good. I mean, everything, when you look at it, doesn't really look like there's anything wrong with it immediately. But then in closer inspection, you can see over here that this end just doesn't look all that good compared to, let's say, this end over here. Nice and square. This is clearly melted away, and when you look at the other side, you can see there's some damage in there. I don't know how well it'll show, but anyhow. That just made me think a little bit about M in general. So years ago I had a much smaller layout with just the C-track that I got from a starter set, and I bought a couple of additional C-track sets. And C-track, snaps right in. I don't particularly like the looks of it. I think it looks a little plasticky, which it is plastic, but certainly very efficient and very durable. I love the look of the M. I mean, it makes it look like a toy. It's a toy track, but it's a toy train. And so over the years I've accumulated a whole bunch, mostly through eBay, that you just buy in different lots. And I thought, well, when I set this layup out, that I could just use what I had. And as it turns out, most of it was in some usable form. A lot of it's not. Once you actually start trying to run trains on the track, you realize that a lot of them are not all that good shape. There's a lot of rust. Takes a little more cleaning to get them ready. Of course, you can always go ahead and, like I did for certain sections, like these curves, you can buy brand new of the vintage M, and they're beautifully preserved and they snap on pretty well and so forth. But from a pricing perspective, when I first started years ago, accumulating M was a lot cheaper. You could get big lots for $20, $30, $40, dozens of pieces. And now the price has really increased to the point where it actually costs just about as much as a C-track. The turnouts are slightly less expensive, but a lot of times you don't get a whole lot of them that work when you get a lot. Here are some of the turnouts and other pieces from the lots that I've bought that have things wrong with them. The solenoids don't work properly anymore. They're shorted. There are pieces that just don't work on digital, like these crossings. You have a lot of trouble with them. It really can't be used these days, especially with shorter locomotives. And so at some point you just have to start wondering whether the idea that you're going to save money by buying the M versus just going with a C-track layout, I think is fiction. I can tell you that some of the more expensive pieces, like curved turnouts, are wildly more expensive on M than they are on the C-track, even with the motors already in them. Now, if you want to put the controllers, that's going to be more money, but then again, now you're controlling everything through the computers, and you don't have to worry about the wiring and so forth. So, it's something to think about. Additionally, as you guys know, who have worked with the M, as you snap the pieces together, they don't always, there's a little bit of play everywhere, right? because it's not like the C-Track that just snaps on and is very rigid. So you're always going to have little motion, you know, on the track. You can move it around and the gap will open and close. Doesn't look really straight no matter how well you try to make it straight. Now once you put down the ballast, it may not be as noticeable, but certainly something to think about. So I think if I had to do it over again, I would go with a C-Track from a money perspective. Certainly the amount of time that you're going to spend on C-Track installation and a lot less problems than with the old M-Track, probably worth it. I happen to love the look of the M-Track, and so I'm kind of on the fence. But again, I think if I had to do it again, I would go with a C-Track. And yeah, just my thoughts for today. Let me know what you think.